When I finally reached Stockholm, I thought I'd feel relief, maybe even triumph. But the truth is, this trip was never about arriving here. It was about the struggle. The mornings where everything was wet before we even started. The nights where exhaustion made it hard to even speak. It was about the road that never seemed to end, and the voice in your head asking you why you ever thought this was a good idea. But it was also about the small victories, the fuel that kept us moving, the kind strangers we met along the way, the moments of laughter that made the suffering worth it. 10 days, 2 people, 900 kilometers from Copenhagen to Stockholm, carrying everything we needed on our bikes. Adventure isn't about the destination, it's about the journey and what it pulls out of you and who you become along the way. Let me show you how I got here.
Right, day one is officially underway. We are on the train to Helsingborg, where we will get the ferry across to Helsingborg in Sweden. All right, an hour and a half in, and we have ran into our first rain of the ride. We are suited and booted. Got the shoe covers on, got the rain jacket on. I guess this is the most fun part of bikepacking trips that they don't tell you about in the highlight reels, is hiding out in the woods for 30 minutes while it rains fucking sideways. Stopped at about 50 kilometers for a little bit of break and felt it start to drip, and now it is absolutely raining sideways. Just hanging out here in the edge of the woods. I think there's some water on the camera. Yeah. Wait this out and try to keep going forward, but we are fucking soaked. Day one gave us everything at once. Strong tailwinds, flat farmlands, a couple of rain showers, and a brand new friend, Sheila. Sheila's a local who's lived her whole life on her own terms. She speaks 4 languages fluently. She's been a tattoo artist, a professional airbrush artist, ran an export business shipping cars from Cuba to Sweden, and even spent the 70s following around a certain band in the UK. She's the kind of person you meet once and instantly think, yep.
Oh fuck! I see you!
It's back, it's back, it's better than ever.
I love every punk rockers and every people who's like me. Anarchy is going on.
Hell yeah.
It's not about it's not about.
We may never know what anarchy is truly about, but what I do know is that day number 1 was tiring, and a campfire was just what the doctor ordered. Day number 2 is underway. Slept in this shelter last night, and yeah, we had a little bit of wet gear from the ride, but we were able to get some of that dry. Had a nice little campfire, and now are packing and about to head out on day number 2. We've had a little bit of a sleep in this morning just because it is raining. So rain jackets are on, and we are getting things packed up and ready to go. So it's important to talk about the route that we took. So we decided to take the Trans-European Trail and pasted together some of the different sections of it going through Sweden. However, we found after the first 2 days that the terrain was just a little bit too technical, and the hills on the gravel sections were just a little bit too much to tackle. So after day 2, we actually decided to take a little bit more of a paved route. So day 2 is well underway. We're about 37 or so kilometers in. We are in the middle of nowhere, and kind of finding that to be a little bit of an issue right now, because we were kind of hoping that there would be a place to get lunch or maybe coffee, somewhere towards the middle of the ride, but that's not looking like it is going to happen. So we are trying to survive on snacks and bars that we have, to kind of get us through. Got a little bit of a late start, so we're trying to kind of keep the pedal down and keep moving. because we had to wait around until about 11 this morning until the rain stopped, because it just started pissing right at about 8:30 when we were going to get up and get going. But yeah, we are well underway, and let's see, we've got another 40, 50 or so kilometers left, and I think about 30 kilometers to the next town. So, all right, let's see what happens. That's it for day number 2. If you're asking yourself, what the fuck is this thing? There's a hot dog. Somebody left a hot dog air freshener here in the campsite. So I figured it'd be pretty good to hold my microphone. Probably going to make the tent smell a little bit better tonight. But today was a tough day. I think that getting a late start just kind of made us feel a bit rushed all day. And we didn't strategize, I guess, the food perfectly. So I think that there was a point where we were probably both expecting a coffee and a meal and, some warm food, and never quite got that. And so kind of relied on snacks all day. And then kind of, a little disappointing to have yet another greasy pizzeria for dinner. But yeah, tough day, but some beautiful scenery. And we're looking at beautiful weather tomorrow. So hopefully things will turn around a bit tomorrow. I think that's bed calling for me. I gotta go. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It's day 3. I don't have shit to say to you. One thing I found super interesting is there is this obsession with Americana. And as you can see by that old school, actually I didn't look too close what it was. It looked like it might have been a Chevy, but I'm sure that somebody will correct me in the comments. But yeah, there's this obsession with Americana. You see a lot of old American cars, and even some things you wouldn't really expect to see, like Chevrolet Suburbans and yeah, heavier trucks and kind of, a lot of American vehicles you see on the road. So didn't really expect that, but I think it's kind of a cool thing. And I don't know, kind of ties into this nostalgia piece and maybe why I love rural Sweden so much. All right, we have about 60 kilometers knocked down here on day 3. We have stopped for a little bit of a break. We just threw together a little bit of a lunch outside of the grocery store, and across the street there's this little cafe where we stopped, and me and a crow shared some cheesecake as well as some Paco chocolate milk. It's really good. Yeah, I'm trying to diagnose a little bit of a possible cleat issue. I've got something that just can't get comfortable on my right leg and just causing a little bit of weirdness, some alignment issues. So I might try to make a tiny adjustment, and I know that could be risky while on the road. But let's see. We're going to kind of get a plan together for the rest of the day, figure out where we're staying, figure out what we're doing tomorrow, and yeah, set out here in a little bit. But the weather is perfect, so we're going to kind of take our time and enjoy the afternoon a bit. As you can see, a change in scenery is starting to become evident. As you head northeast from Helsingborg, the flat coastal plains and leafy woodlands start to give way to rolling hills. The soil gets thinner and rockier, the air a little cooler, and that's when the forest shifts from broadleaf trees to more evergreens like pine and spruce. Reflections after 4 days on the road. Today is the start of day 4, and we've averaged 100 kilometers a day the last 3 days, and I think today kind of taking in a little bit of a lazy day. It's about 10:30 or so. We went and had some coffee, had some pastries, and really taking our time. I think that one of the things I've been thinking about this morning, is just how sometimes these trips do get a little bit monotonous when you're cycling every day the beautiful epic scenery becomes a little bit watered down after you maybe see all these awesome things and are just visually stimulated all day, every day. So we're taking a little bit of time this morning and gonna have a little bit of a shorter day. There is a nice sized town called Jönköping halfway through the ride today. So I think that we're gonna try to stop there and have a nice meal. We've kind of cobbled together meals the last couple of days and haven't really had a nice proper warm meal, so I think that is on the agenda for today. That'll be about the 40-kilometer mark, and I think that we're only going to do around 60 today. I'll try to find a place north of Jönköping and camp there for tonight, because I think that we're both feeling kind of fresh. We both had showers and feel clean, had a decent night's sleep. And yeah, I think that is the plan for today. With showers behind us and a belly full of hot dogs, we pedaled north, slowly and heavily, into what felt like Sweden's most charming pine-scented therapy session. The forest rolled on, and somewhere in the back of our minds we knew maybe we'd overslept, maybe we hadn't quite left enough time to find a proper place to eat, or more importantly, to shit. But onward we went. Eventually, Jönköping appeared like a mirage. There we treated to ourselves to an Indian feast, because nothing says Swedish cycling holiday like tikka masala. Afterwards, we did the only logical thing two exhausted travelers could do. We took a nap on a park bench overlooking Lake Vatten, Sweden's second largest lake, and at that moment, our first choice for free accommodation. So we found a nice campsite. We searched around quite a bit and could not really find anything, and the place that we had found on the map to go camp just ended up being a field that was quite impossible. Sorry, I'm on bug duty as well. So we're camped here in the edge of this field. As you can see, there's a barn down there, but we have a luxury charcuterie board here in the tent. We're trying to make the best of it, but we're gonna get up and get going early in the morning. But this is the campsite for tonight. Good morning, world. Welcome to day 5. We are sleeping in the edge of a random field, and now we are about to hurry and get ready and get the fuck out of here before some angry farmer comes and runs us off. But yeah, today I think we're going to try to do around 80, find a campground. I think we're both kind of feeling a little gross, and we'd like to have a shower and maybe a flat spot to camp on tonight. But it actually feels really good outside. It's about 16 degrees. I think it's only going to be about 20, 21 today. So looking forward to hopefully some nice weather, and yeah, hopefully some nice views and a nice day of riding. This was the day we finally figured a few things out. First, that starting on gravel in the morning and finishing on a smooth pavement later in the day is the perfect recipe for not completely destroying yourself. Second, that riding on the edge of the highway is absolutely terrifying, but also that Swedish drivers might be the most polite people on earth. They give you space, they slow down, and they make you wonder if you've accidentally wandered into a traffic safety commercial. And then there was the bakery stop. The owner recommended a campground for the night, and we just went with it. Turns out, it was one of our favorite campsites of the entire trip. All thanks to strangers with good pastry and even better advice. Doing what we like to call the campground crawl, where I'm walking at a brisk pace to get to the bathhouse before I shit myself. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. All right. We're cold sweating. We're cutting it close. Good morning, and welcome to day 6. All right, we have landed on a bit of a plan. So decided to take a slow morning this morning. It's like 11. We can check out at 3, and kind of we're aiming to do a little bit of a shorter day today. So kind of the way that we plan stops is really based on the accommodation that we want. We've stayed at a campsite tonight, had a shower, so not really itching to stay somewhere that has super nice facilities or anything like that. So we have decided to stay on a shelter. That was kind of what fit for tonight. So there is a app that we've been using called Shelter Map, and it lays out all of the different kinds of shelters and the shelters available for free use in the Swedish forest. So we found a couple of places, and we were really trying to find something that was near a town that had groceries, something that was around 60 to 70 kilometers away. And we were trying to follow the route of the Lake Vatun and find something around the town of Askersund. But we couldn't really find anything, found some shelters that were around 80, 85 kilometers and just nothing that was a really great fit. So we decided to look in a little bit different direction. So we found a town to the north called Laxa, and just north of the town, about a kilometer away, there is a really beautiful little kind of red shelter. So you can see everything here. All of these cabins are painted red. So we're going to stay at that shelter tonight, and it's really close to the town. So there is a grocery store, and it's only about a 60-kilometer ride. So a little bit of an easier day. I think that, we're both a bit tired after a long day yesterday, and then, today being day 6, the energy stores are starting to wear a little bit thin. So plan is now we are going to get all of our laundry packed. We're going to get all of our bags and camping gear packed, and then we are going to go snack up. So get all of our snacks for the day to make sure that we have enough to keep us going, and we are going to hit the road. So
This was the day the fatigue really set in. The kind of day where my quads burned so badly, it felt every single pedal stroke. To make things worse, it was one of the only days we had ahead of them, and even though the ride was short, it took absolutely everything I had to keep me moving forward. By the time we finally rolled into Laxat, we knew exactly how to celebrate surviving the trip. Only way we knew how, with greasy pizza and some wild camp. A combination that's equal parts comforting and dangerous, because nothing tests your relationship with the great outdoors quite like greasy cheese and the urgent need to dig a hole.
Day 7 is underway. Last night was a little bit humid and sticky in the tent, and I think that we were both a little bit uncomfortable, but slept pretty well. We did a little bit of wild camping here. We got to the shelter last night, and there was already 3 people in the shelter, so just decided to go down the road a bit, and we found this little cutout that we camped in. This morning we're about to finish packing and head into town and go to the grocery store and get a little bit of breakfast. My stomach's been a little bit wacky from eating pizza and gummies and cola and whatever garbage I can shovel in my face. So I think I'm gonna opt for something decently healthy. I think my gut needs some yogurt or something like that. But yeah, gonna cycle into town, plan the route out exactly, and I think today we're gonna kind of aim for a little bit of a big day. Try to get started here relatively early. It's like right at 9 a.m. and try to get maybe 90, 100 kilometers in today, and then we'll be one more day to Nutritional, and then from there it's either gonna be one really big day or 2 days. So we've got about 3 or 4 days left, and we will be in Stockholm. But yeah, we'll get going here in a bit. Day 7 has started with a nice, beautiful roadside breakfast and some wildlife that would also like some of my breakfast. But it's funny how these little tiny things bring you happiness after you've slept and shit and been in the woods for, the last 12 hours. But today, we have a donut, we have some cheese bread, we have some yogurts, and we have some probiotic yogurts, because from the pizza and from the gummies, your boy's stomach's not doing too well. But day's off to a good start. It is beautiful. We have a tailwind at our back for most of the day, and it's just kind of a really nice 18 degrees with a little bit of a breeze. So nice merino wool leather. leather weather. So, yeah, that's today. Off to a good start. Alright, made it our first stop here on day number 7 after about 40 kilometers. The ride has been absolutely enjoyable this morning. It's like perfect weather, perfect tailwind, and most importantly, no hills at all. But I found one of my favorite new Swedish pastries. I've eaten about half of it before I decided that, but it's super good. It's like a gooey, almondy kind of almost praline with like cream in the middle of it. It's called a nackoflarn. Yeah, probably fucked that up, but it's super good. And of course, classic Coca-Cola. But yeah, gonna continue riding east this afternoon, and still looking at about 3 days before we get to Stockholm. This was the longest ride of the whole trip. A 123-kilometer ride that finished at a lovely campground. Somewhere along the way, I landed on the idea that balancing nutrition and fatigue is its own kind of dark art. Even though I drank water all day and crammed in as many calories and as many sodas as I could, I completely misjudged the finish. With 20 kilometers left, I bonked hard. Every pedal stroke felt like a negotiation with my body. But then came the salvation. A hot shower, a waffle, and a couple cans of soda later, the misery had vanished completely. And suddenly, all that was left was the calm beauty of Katrineholm, glowing in the evening light.
This is what 115 kilometers in looks and feels like. It's not great. I'm tired. My legs are dead. And I'm gonna cramp in between my neck and my shoulder blade. It doesn't feel great. But we're almost there. 7, 8 kilometers left and we're done. So, eyes on the prize. Just smashed a banana. About to get this shit finished. Let's go.
This is what pure enjoyment looks like. Just finished 123 kilometers. I'm fucking dead, and I'm having a waffle with syrup and 2 fried eggs on it. Not the combo I thought I'd be eating for dinner, but when you're hungry, you're hungry. And it fucking slaps. Yeah, this is good. Ooh. I never really knew it, but the Swedes love their waffles. And I'm here for it. That shit good right there. It is how you dry a tent.
But it's
Hands-free. Whoa, whoa. They fly away to Stockholm. Day 8 was brutal. Just 70 kilometers, but it dragged on like an eternity of bad reality TV. Flat roads, nothing really to look at, and both of us really cooked from fatigue. But here's the thing. This is exactly why I love trips like this. When you're deep in the pain, every pedal stroke feels like an existential crisis, and that's honestly when the mental housekeeping starts. You're down there sorting through the junk drawer in your head, figuring out what you can't live with, what you can live with, really what you need to toss. It's uncomfortable, but it's also weirdly cleansing. Like, yeah, my legs are screaming and my brain is melting, but at least I've finally dealt with that imaginary pile of laundry I've been ignoring for a while. And by the end, you're tired, you're cracked, but somehow you feel lighter. And of course, a little hungrier for some gas station candy. Camping shower. This is what clean looks like. Go back in the woods and clean up a little bit where the sun don't shine. I'm going to try to teach you all really quickly this morning how to find a good place to shit in the woods. First of all, I would say is find a place that's not too visible. So I noticed some people walking by on the trail behind me, and also there's a trail there. So I want to stay out of sight of that as best as possible. So I am going to tuck a little bit lower down this hill. You also want to keep in mind, if you gotta go, you gotta go. And, you know, people will figure it out. So what I like to usually do is try to find a downed log of some sort. So something I can have a little seat on. But that's luxury edition. Realistic edition is, so maybe we'll test out the strength of that. For this little down tree right here, it is a little bit visible to this trail. But if we can be quick, we'll be okay. Let's give that a try. So this is how you do it in style right here. Very hidden, but fuck it. Welcome to day number 9, coming to you from the American Embassy, aka McDonald's. Sausage, no sausage. Actually, it was a sausage egg, and I paid for the sausage. The egg and cheese McMuffin, and an iced chai latte to start the day. Been waiting for this moment for quite a while. Let's take a bite. Day 9 was without a doubt the hardest day of the whole trip. Funny enough, it was also the shortest. No crazy hills, no unbearable heat, nothing dramatic, just my body saying, yeah, we're done here. The fatigue had piled up, the lactic acid was burning deep in my legs, and I felt every single turn of the pedals. This was the day I realized how much sleep and hydration actually matter for road recovery, and how little I had been paying attention to either. Mentally, I was cooked. Physically, I was over it, and honestly, more than anything, I was just ready for Stockholm. Ready for a break, ready for a bed, and maybe a version of myself that didn't feel like a hollowed out raisin on 2 wheels. Oh, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. Today, I am a 10 penny nail, and I am getting hammered. It's funny how it works. Some days you feel super fresh, feel great, and then today I feel like I felt every pedal stroke. Not quite sure what it is. Feel like I ate a decent amount. Drank a decent amount. Probably could have drank more. Always could. But I felt every pedal stroke today. It is tough. We're about 40 kilometers in, and luckily today we only have about 15 left to get to the campsite, where there is a shower, a swimming place, and a nice day waiting on us. But the ride so far has been a little bit of a drag. But the sun's shining, and there's a nice warm shower and cool swimming water waiting on us. So we have that to look forward to. Day number 9 is in the books. It was a tough one. I don't know. I think the body's just tired after 9 consecutive days of cycling with no days off. And when you know it, we're going to do the same damn thing tomorrow. But tomorrow is the last day, and tomorrow we end in Stockholm. So, just feeling like I'm kind of getting in the rhythm of things, but also I think my body is ready for a little break. So, looking forward to completing the trip tomorrow. But we're stopped here in Trosa. If you get a chance, if you're ever in this neck of the woods, I mean, check it out. Here, I don't know where my hand is. All of this stuff. It's beautiful. This area is kind of known for these little rock outcroppings, and all these little cute villas and little kind of Swedish cabins on the hillside. So definitely worth checking out if you are in the area. And also the town is super cute. definitely worth a stop and a chill afternoon, which is exactly what we did. Finished around 1:30 today, and then spent the day checking out the town, having some nice food, getting some sweets, and yeah, we're camping tonight, and then tomorrow is the last day of the trip. So, definitely feeling like I'm in the swing of things, but also the body is tired, so ready for some rest and ready to explore Stockholm a little bit. But yeah, that's it for today. Day number 10 is underway. We are going to finish in Stockholm today. We have about 80 kilometers to get there. We've already had our breakfast, and we're about to hit the road. Trying to get there before a thunderstorm does. So I'm going to be kind of hustling today. But I'm looking forward to enjoying this last day on the road. Day 10 had it all. First, a wall of thunderstorms rolling up from the south, looking like the apocalypse was coming in for a shift. We pedaled like lunatics, as if the two people on bicycles could actually outrun the lightning. Then came the ferry. 330 meters, one of the shortest ferry rides in the world. Honestly, I think it took us longer to roll our bikes on and off than it did to get across the water. You could sneeze and kind of miss the whole thing. You could belly flop off the dock and probably arrive first. But then, the waffle. The greatest waffle of my life. Crispy, golden, hot off the iron, and honestly closer to a religious awakening than a snack. And little did we know that waffle basically marked the end of the real riding. Everything after was just generic bike paths and cycle lanes funneling us into the center of Stockholm. Looking back, it's clear. Day 10 wasn't about the storm or the ferry. It was about one waffle and the beginning of the end.
For some reason, I just didn't feel much when I finally arrived in Stockholm. And at first I wrestled with that. Shouldn't the ending be the most important part? But the more I sat with it, the more I realized it was never Stockholm I was chasing. It was the process, the struggle, the long days that blurred together, the nights by the campfire, the awkward poops in the woods, the endless bags of tutti frutti, the stale co-op cheese bread, the chats with Sheila, the arguments over which route, the random shelters we stumbled upon, the greasy pizzas that somehow felt like 5-star meals, the laughs, the aches, the wrong turns that ended up being right. That's what it was always about. Not the destination, the adventure itself. Raw, messy, exhausting, imperfect, and absolutely